Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. Today, doing the What's Next on the Undefeated Unified Super Bantamweight Champion, Murodjon Ahkmadaliev. He is the Unified Champion at 122 following a harder than expected 12-round unanimous decision over Jose Velasquez. Velasquez replaced Ronnie Rios, who tested positive for COVID, and had to pull out of the fight. Velasquez was replaced. He actually fought his ass off, but Ahkmadaliev just too much. I mean, the guy's just too talented, too skilled, outworked, outclassed Velasquez. But again, Velasquez pushed Ahkmadaliev, hurt him with a body shot earlier in the fight, and really tested him. But Ahkmadaliev left no doubt, retains his unified championship, and now the big question is what's next for Ahkmadaliev. Well, obviously, following Stephen Fulton's victory over Brandon Figueroa on Saturday, and Fulton asked him if he wanted a rematch to Figueroa, and Figueroa was talking about moving up in weight. So if that's the case, I don't see why Eddie Hearn wouldn't attempt to make a fight possible between Stephen Fulton Jr. and Murodjon Ahkmadaliev for the undisputed the undisputed Super Bantamweight Championship. This fight totally is makeable if the PBC and Eddie Hearn, and to be honest, I don't think the Zone would mind giving up the rights to Ahkmadaliev fighting Stephen Fulton on something PBC, on a main event for Showtime or something like that, because Ahkmadaliev is not a huge name, so I really think this fight is possible, and I hope it happens, because Stephen Fulton, now I have him ranked, I think I'm putting him number one ahead of Ahkmadaliev, and we have two unified champions, and they're both undefeated. Why not do this fight for undisputed? It would be huge. So I do think that is possible. Now, as I said, Fulton's one now, Ahkmadaliev's two, and Brandon Figueroa is number three. I don't see a fight with Ahkmadaliev and Figueroa. If Figueroa doesn't rematch Stephen Fulton next, he's moving up to 126. He's made that clear. So I don't see that fight happening. Number four in this division is Daniel Roman, the former world champion. It would be a rematch with Ahkmadaliev. If they wanted to build up a fight with Fulton, especially if Fulton were to fight Figueroa in a rematch, and Roman wanted to cross the street and take on Ahkmadaliev, I think it could happen, but I really don't think, I don't see Roman rushing to the front of the line to try to get the rematch, and Ahkmadaliev's looking at it like, what's the point now? I have bigger options. So I would love to see a rematch. The first fight was close, it was good, but I don't think it's going to happen. Now, number five is Azat Havanassian, who's now the WBA's mandatory number one contender. I want to see Havanassian, if Fulton doesn't fight, like say Fulton fights Figueroa in a rematch next, I want to see Ahkmadaliev and Azat Havanassian next, and it should happen. The WBA should order this fight, and it should happen, because I know there's talks of Ronnie Rios, since he had to pull out of the fight, possibly getting Ahkmadaliev, but why, when Azat Havanassian kicked the shit out of Ronnie Rios a few years ago? I mean, he stopped him in 6 rounds, left no doubt. So unless those two guys are willing to fight each other, then I don't see why Ronnie Rios should jump the line ahead of Azat Havanassian, now that Havanassian is the number one contender. So I don't see, I think that fight is definitely possible if Ahkmadaliev doesn't get an undisputed title fight with Stephen Fulton Jr. Number 6 is the undefeated Michael Conlin, and he's only still ranked at featherweight for me until his fight is made official with Lee Wood for the WBA featherweight championship of the world at 126. Conlin technically fought at featherweight in his last fight, but I still have him ranked here at 122 because he came down and became the WBO's top contender when he beat eonut Baluta earlier in the year. So I still technically have him ranked at 122, but I definitely don't see him and Ahkmadaliev being possible because he's got his attention elsewhere. Number 7 is former 2-division champion Luis Neri. there wouldn't be a point for Ahkmadaliev to fight Neri right now. It's going to be tough enough to get DAZN and Eddie Hearn to work with the PBC to make that fight possible with Stephen Fulton, but it really would be damn near impossible. And it wouldn't make sense for him to fight Luis Neri, who's also with the PBC. You know, it wouldn't make sense for Ahkmadaliev to cross the street for that fight, so I'm not seeing it. I believe number 8, I have Ronnie Rios. That fight, yeah, as much as I like Ronnie Rios and I'd like to see him get another crack at the title, I don't feel like he deserves it over Azat Havanassian. So, but it could happen. He could end up fighting Ahkmadaliev next if he does not get the fight with Stephen Fulton, Ahkmadaliev. So, Ronnie Rios, yeah, he could be next for, I do think he's a very likely option if the WBA doesn't order Ahkmadaliev to fight Havanassian, or he doesn't get the undisputed title fight with Stephen Fulton. Number 9 is eonut Baluta, the world contender. Contender. Yeah, not seeing it. There's not a point for Ahkmadaliev to take the risk to fight eonut Baluta next. Maybe an outside shot if he can't get anybody else to fight him, but I don't see it happening. And then you got Angelo Leo and Ryosuke Iwasa sitting tied for 10th right now. Angelo Leo working his way back up, but he's with the PBC. He lost to Stephen Fulton. What's the point in that fight? So I don't see it. And then Ryosuke Iwasa, you know, I'd like to see him get another opportunity, but he's going to have to earn it because, you know, the decision was rendered and Ahkmadaliev has just way bigger options and better options. So there's no point in him taking a step back unless Iwasa were to earn it. So the most likely options for MJ, Murodjon, Ahkmadaliev, I really hope an undisputed title fight is discussed and happens between him and Stephen Fulton. Right now, I'm about 50-50 for the promotional, them coming together promotionally to make the fight, and also because I do think it's possible Brandon Figueroa could rematch Stephen Fulton Jr. So that's why I still think it's right now. It's early and it's 50-50. Hopefully by the what's next for Stephen Fulton next week, we'll have a better answer on that. But the secondary option, and I think they kind of run neck and neck, is either Azat Havanassian in a mandatory fight because the WBA orders it, or Ronnie Rios. Those are the 3 fights that I think are most likely for MJ, Murodjon, Ahkmadaliev in his next fight. So hopefully we get some more clear-cut information and can get a real answer on who's likely going to be next for Ahkmadaliev. But I think it's going to be a big fight either way, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him back in action. I like this guy. I think he's a fun, entertaining little guy to watch. He's the unified champion, and he's undefeated. So that's the what's next on Murodjon Ahkmadaliev following his 12-round unanimous decision victory over Jose Velasquez. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.